Hello guys, welcome to today's class. So today we'll be looking at the derivative of a product, how to derive the product rule, and we are also going to apply the product rule by attempting some questions. So we shall now consider the derivative of y equals to uv, where u and v are function of x. So if we consider the derivative of y equal to uv, where u and v are function of what? X. So you can see that let y be equal to u v. Then y plus change in y is equal to u plus what? Change in u bracket v plus change in v. So now let's open the bracket. If we open the bracket, we have that y is equal to, we have that y plus change in y is equal to u times v gives you uv, u times change in v gives you plus u change in v, change in u times v gives you plus v change in u times change in v gives you plus change in u change in v. So don't forget that if we take y to this other side of the equation, we have that y plus change in y will be equal to, okay, we've already taken y to this other side, so you can say that change in y will be equal to uv plus u change in v plus v change in u plus change in u change in v. Now, since we've moved y to this other side of the equation, y will carry a negative sign, and don't forget that y is equal to uv, so we have what? Minus what? uv. So now this minus uv can cancel out this uv here, so we can say that change in y will be equal to u change in v plus v change in u plus change in u change in v. Now, if we divide through by change in x, we'll have change in y over change in x will be equal to u change in v over change in x plus v change in u over change in x plus change in u change in v over change in what? X. So now, as change in x approaches 0, change in u also tends to 0, and change in v also tends to 0. Now we can say that the limit when change in x tends to 0, change in y over change in x will be equal to the limit when change in x tends to 0, u change in v over change in x plus v change in u over change in x plus change in u change in v over change in x. So now don't forget that according to the product property of limit, we can say that this is equal to u limit when changing x tends to 0 of changing v over changing x plus v changing u, no, v lim when changing x tends to 0 changing u over changing x plus changing u, the limit when changing x tends to 0 changing v over changing x. Now, we can say that both u lim changing x tends to 0 changing v over changing s can also be written as u dv over dx. Also, v lim when changing x tends to 0 or changing u over changing s can also be written as v du over dx. Likewise, changing u when the limit when changing x tends to 0 can also be written as changing u dv over dx. So now don't forget that as changing x tends to 0, changing u also what tends to 0. So as changing x tends to 0, changing u also tends to 0. So if you substitute here with 0, everything here turns to 0. And now we can say that dy dx will be equal to u dv dx plus v du dx. So this is the rule, and this is how to find the product rule. So this is the product rule, which says that dy dx is equals to u times dv over dx plus v times du over dx. So now let's try 4 minus 5x squared. So now let's start from the first question. Now from the first question, solution, we can say that given that y is equal to uv, dy dx will be equal to, that is stating the product rule, dy dx will be equal to u dv dx plus v du dx. Now u is equal to 3 plus 2x let's call this equation 1, and v is equal to 1 minus x. Let's call this equation 2. Now from equation 1, this is equation 1, we can say that du dx will be equal to, differentiate 3 plus 2x gives you just 2, because if you differentiate 3, you get 0. Differentiate 2x, you get what? Just what? 2. Now from equation 2, dv dx is equal to, if you differentiate 1 minus x, gives you what? Minus 1. So now, we can now say that dy dx will be equal to u dv dx plus v du dx. Now what is u? U is 3 plus 2x. 3 plus 2x. And what is dv dx? dv dx from equation 1 gives you minus 2x. So you can see that dy dx will be equal to minus 3 minus 2x plus 2 minus 2x. By rearranging, we can say that dy dx is equal to minus 3 plus 2 minus 2x minus 2x. So dy dx is equal to minus 2x minus 2x gives you, okay, minus 3 plus 2x gives you minus 1, minus 2x minus 2x gives you minus 4x. So this is the derivative of this question, which says that y is equal to 3 plus 2x bracket 1 minus 2 1 minus x. So the second question, I want you to solve it and drop your answer in the comment section. Second question say y is equals to 1 minus 2x plus 3x square bracket 4 minus 5x square. Please solve the second question and drop your answer in the comment section. Like, share and subscribe. On our next class, I'm going to solve further question on applying what the product rule. Please like, share and subscribe. See you on our next class.